Hey everyone, Tony here. Hope you're doing well. It is Monday, January 7th. Hope you're holding strong. Boy, we have a lot to cover today. It's a lot of really important and positive news. As you know, I like to share the facts with you guys. We want to look at what is the big money doing? What are the governments doing? Who's setting up services and shop? Who's getting involved in crypto, right? These things are important because they tell us what's to come. Because if we're only looking at prices, then we're missing the holistic or bigger picture of this new asset class and this emerging revolutionary technology of blockchain. And like I said, it's a lot to cover, so bear with me. And of course, this is not financial or investment advice. Hit the subscribe button and the thumbs up button, guys. The first is Colorado senators file a bill to exempt cryptos from securities laws. This is significant. For those of you who are outside the United States, Colorado is a state in the United States. They're actually very forward thinking. For example, marijuana is legal there. So this is actually a very forward thinking bill that it was proposed by these folks. So why is this important? Because we know the SEC has been dragging their feet to provide regulatory clarity on the majority of the crypto market. They have mentioned that Bitcoin and Ethereum are not securities, although they have backtracked a bit on Ethereum as far as I heard some comments from Jay Clayton and so forth. But for the most part, they said those two are not securities. But what about the other 2,000 cryptos in the market, right? What about the other top 50 cryptos? XRP, Cardano, Stellar. They have to provide clarity because that is holding up a lot of the progress that could be made around these cryptos as well as new projects. And the CFTC is also dragging their feet, and the overall U.S. government. Now, this is actually, you do have some folks, don't get me wrong, it's not the entire U.S. government. For example, Warren Davidson and Darren Soto have proposed a Token Taxonomy Act, which Congress is supposed to review, but right now the U.S. is having a government shutdown, which is going to hold that up, and of course probably hold up the SEC reviewing the Bitcoin ETF by February 27th. Let's see what happens. So let me give you the details here. Two lawmakers from the U.S. state of Colorado have introduced legislation seeking to exempt cryptocurrencies and certain digital tokens from securities laws. On Friday, Senators Stephen Fenberg, a Democrat, and Jack Tate, a Republican, jointly filed a bill dubbed the Colorado Digital Token Act. Shout out to these two gentlemen. Once again, bipartisan support. So if we can get this from almost every state, I think that would force Congress to really take a look at this. So the act is proposing that digital tokens with a primarily consumptive purpose should be exempt from securities laws, provided they are not marked for speculative or investment purposes. So essentially, utility tokens, and what their purpose is outside of just speculative or being investments. The move is aimed to remove regulatory uncertainty that could hold back firms offering marketplaces for tokens and others aiming to fundraise using crypto assets. Creating the Colorado Digital Token Act will enable Colorado businesses that use crypto economic systems to obtain growth capital to help grow and expand their businesses, thereby promoting the formation and growth of local companies and accompanying job creation, and help make Colorado a hub for companies that are building new forms of decentralized Web 3.0 platforms and applications. The proposed bill states. These guys get it. They absolutely get it. The consumptive purpose of digital tokens is defined as to provide or receive goods, services, or content, including access to goods, services, or content, according to the document. To qualify for exemption, the consumptive purpose for a token must be available within 180 days of its sale or transfer, and the initial buyer cannot resell or transfer the token until the consumptive purpose is available. So, man, I hope this gets passed, guys. So, further, the bill specifies the initial buyer provides a knowing and clear acknowledgement that the initial buyer is purchasing the digital token with the primary intent to use the digital token for a consumptive purpose and not a speculative or investment purpose. For an exemption, an issuer must file a notice of intent with the state's Securities Commissioner to bill ads. Very interesting. They also mention here the Token Taxonomy Act, so which is looking to add a new definition to the securities laws for digital tokens, because you can't use a 70-year-old securities law for these type of for cryptos, because cryptos actually serve like a dual purpose. And for example, they are they're utility tokens. Even Bitcoin, in a sense, it's for utility, for the transfer of funds, right? Look at XRP being used by banks and so forth. But they're all used as well, all of them, for speculative and investment. I mean, I don't think you can escape that. So I think the Token Taxonomy Act is better from that standpoint, but this is still a move in the right direction, guys. So like I said, we need to watch what the governments are doing and the big money, because those two things in conjunction will help this market to grow and to become a legit, so to speak. When I say legit, not to say it's not legit right now, but I should say further legitimize as the stock market is, right? That's where we're headed, or as the precious metal market is, gold and silver. That is where we're headed, guys. That is where we're headed. Now, moving ahead, Japan explores crypto ETFs after snubbing futures. This is interesting. And of course, in the United States, we're waiting for the SEC to approve a Bitcoin ETF. Japan's financial watchdog has abandoned plans to allow listed derivatives based on cryptocurrencies, but may yet approve exchange-traded funds that track the asset class, according to a person familiar with the matter. The decision to bar instruments like Bitcoin futures or Ethereum options in one of the largest markets for cryptocurrencies marks another setback for investors betting on institutional demand to help end a brutal year-long sell-off. But the possibility of ETFs tracking digital assets in Japan could revive appetite for retail investors after $500 million was stolen from Tokyo-based CoinCheck a year ago. So let's see, Japan may pass this ETF, but I guarantee you, if the US was to pass an ETF, guys, a lot of other countries will follow suit. We've seen this before. So that's why I'm hoping the SEC, the US takes the lead here. And we know, cryptos are big in Japan. Bitcoin is a legal currency there. So, hopefully fingers crossed that they pass it, guys. It would be great if they are able to. Now, we have here along CoinFLEX. So, crypto exchange takes on behemoths with physical Bitcoin futures. CoinFLEX to offer contracts to Asian investors next month. Ventures backers include Roger Ver and Trading Technologies. The contest is heating up to gain market share in one of the most closely watched products in the world's cryptocurrencies, physically delivered Bitcoin futures. So as you know, Backed, which its own launch was delayed because of the CFTC, they're going to be offering a physically backed Bitcoin futures product. And as you know, it's because they want to be more accountable and not do the paper version of it, which exists in like the gold markets and so forth, right? When they give out or have the futures or whatever it may be, they actually have the Bitcoin to back it up. It's not just on paper. It's not divided. They have the Bitcoin. So it looks like this CoinFLEX is looking to do the same here. While the owner of the New York Stock Exchange is expected to start offering such contracts shortly, and Eris Exchange LLC plans to follow, so two in the United States, the firm says it was first to market, has spun off from its previous owners, and will provide derivatives on some of the largest digital coins to Asian retail investors beginning next month. This is big because, like I said, physically backed Bitcoin futures, and it won't just be Bitcoin. They'll start off with Bitcoin, then it'll eventually go to Ethereum, XRP, and so forth. So started last year, CoinFLEX, then a unit of UK Bitcoin exchange CoinFloor. The platform will now be called Coin Futures and lending exchange, or CoinFLEX. The venture is owned by a consortium including famed early crypto advocate Roger Ver and Trading Technologies International, which develops trading software for brokers and money managers. CoinFLEX, the UK's oldest Bitcoin exchange, will also retain an equity stake. So big things are ahead, guys. Very big things. This is why, obviously not financial investment advice. This is why I'm saying hodl, man. It's kind of moving at a snail's pace with the regulatory clarity, which is annoying as hell. But when you see the discussions are happening and the bills are being proposed, I mean, the writing's on the wall, right? The internet, in the early days also went through this slow pace for regulatory clarity. Eventually it was given, right? And the U.S. really took the lead. Right now, the U.S. is lagging behind. But, as I always like to remind you guys, crypto is global and there's many other markets that, and all these things affect the price. So it's actually going to be bigger than what the dot-com boom was in the 90s, which was heavily US driven, right? But crypto is global, and you have a lot of countries that are just leading the charge, going all in, like Japan and so forth, and Malta and Sweden and South Korea and many others. So big things ahead, guys. I'm excited, but this is significant. I think this is one of those things you want to put in your calendar. So they said they're going to be launching it next month, it looks like. Yep, beginning next month, so February, guys, which is big. So moving ahead, I remember I've been sharing with you guys a lot of the ad campaigns, the ads on the phone booth, the billboard in front of a building. Well, of Gemini's ad campaign, and I told you guys like mass marketing is coming this year as these services launch. So Gemini's and the Winklevosses twins are really making a push. They took looks like a full page ad in the New York Times talking about the crypto revolution. Now, once again, there's a couple of things here. I understand. I personally, don't like Gemini. I don't use it because they're friends with the Coinbase guys, and they have a large stash of Bitcoin and Ethereum, and they're very slow to list other coins, and they're shady in the way they do it, and they're trying to charge other companies, like Ripple, millions of dollars to list XRP, likewise, Cardano or so forth. But from a bigger picture standpoint, they are still making moves that is really helping to grow the market, right? And the fact that they're doing this type of marketing is significant. And like I said, in videos past, their competitors are not just going to stand around and watch them do that. They're going to market as well. So you're going to have competition, marketing, mass marketing, and then we're going to start seeing adoption, guys. So this is good to see. But once again, I'm not advocating for Gemini. I'm just saying the concept of marketing and crypto, it's coming together, right? The bigger picture here. Winklevoss twins did an AMA, Ask Me Anything, on Reddit today. So where they answer questions. I'm not going to spend too much time on this because they pretty much just reiterated, their game plan. Like, hey, we believe Bitcoin's going to be blah, blah, blah. It's going to be a store of value, better than gold. It's going to go up in value. Also, they are committed to still getting their Bitcoin ETF. We know the SEC denied their Bitcoin ETF back in September of 2018. So let's see, if they get it right this time around. But remember when we had this discussion, I said that the ETF market, these guys are like a startup coming in there when you have like the CBOE, the VanEck folks, which are like monopolies, or the big players have been around the market a long time. I don't think the SEC is going to approve your Bitcoin ETF ahead of theirs, right? It's like one of those things where it's like, yeah, you're the young guy, you got to work your way up, right? Versus the person who's, these people who've been in the market who help launch the gold ETFs and so forth. You're not going to get approved before that. It's just the way it is. But, I give them credit for trying and at least, doing what they have to do to grow their business. So I respect that. And of course, they have a lot of money and they got a lot of Bitcoin, guys. So I just want to let you know that this is happening, and they did this AMA. Now, some Ripple news, very positive. Kuwait Finance House, which we heard about, I think, a month ago or a month and a half ago, that they partnered with Ripple. They tweeted the following yesterday. KFH has started operating an instant cross-border remittance service using Ripple's blockchain technology. The zero fees instant international transfer service is available now in Saudi Riyal SAR, where customers can make remittance transactions to beneficiaries at Rajhi Bank. They also followed up here by saying, this service will expand to encompass most of the world countries in different currencies. KFH customers can make instant and secure zero fees remittances through their accounts. So that's pretty significant, zero fees. I don't know how long this will last. I mean, I don't know if they're making money on the back end somehow and not upfront. Who knows? But let's see, as things progress, what they say. But I believe when we had the initial announcement, they mentioned they were going to be using Xcurrent. But as I said to you guys before, the whole rebranding of RippleNet, the integration of Xcurrent 4.0 with XRapid, it doesn't matter anymore, because depending on which respective corridor or whatever, they could use both Xcurrent and XRapid, right? We've seen Ashish Birla's whiteboard example. Payment starts in XVIA, processed through XRapid, comes out via Xcurrent. So the way Ripple is moving, everything is integrated now. So it could be they're using, for certain currencies, they're using XRP as a bridge asset via XRapid for those respective corridors. For others, they just use Xcurrent, right? So I just want you guys to understand that bigger picture and the nuance of this. But continued adoption and growth here for Ripple, guys, and very excited for the future. And as more banks get fully onboarded to XRapid. Now, we got some Ethereum news. Nevada County offers Ethereum-based marriage certificates. Remember I told you guys I am bullish on Ethereum, and I believe will be one of the winners coming out of this market. And look at the adoption it's getting. I mean, this is facts, right? This is facts. Local governments in some northern Nevada counties have begun incorporating blockchain into their public record systems, the AP reports. Since the program's debut in last April, around 950 couples in Washoe County have received marriage certificates using the technology. The Ethereum-based smart contracts can be delivered to newlyweds' home computers and smartphones via email in less than 24 hours, compared to up to 10 business days for paper equivalents. Meanwhile, Elko County is currently trying out a similar solution by issuing digital birth certificates. So Ethereum is getting some real world adoption here. So really great news. And like I said, I have Ethereum in my portfolio. I'm bullish on it just because of the adoption I'm seeing. And I've shared these items with you. We've talked about blockchains, LLC in Nevada as well. That's going to be leveraging Ethereum. So great news for Ethereum here. Now, bad news for Ethereum Classic. So Ethereum Classic today had a 51% attack, guys. And this is doesn't come as a surprise, because if you recall, the development team ran out of money and they abandoned the project. So I'm sure that the hash rate and all of that security layers and monitoring all fell off the wayside, right? So it got attacked. So Coinbase and many of the other exchanges, pretty much paused withdrawals and stopped a lot of stuff around it. So Coinbase, one of the world's largest cryptocurrency exchanges, said it halted the movement of customer funds on the blockchain that backs Ethereum Classic because of signs that network is under attack. Coinbase said its website Monday it detected deep reorganizations of the Ethereum Classic blockchain, in which almost $500,000 in digital tokens were spent twice. That can indicate a so-called 51% attack in which some computers supporting a network falsify transactions. The team behind Ethereum Classic, the 18th largest crypto, by total market value said it's looking into Coinbase's assertions and hasn't drawn conclusions. So obviously very bad for Ethereum Classic here. If you recall, and to be fully transparent, I told you guys that I bought some Ethereum Classic, but and you can go back to the video, I said I was buying it for a quick flip because as the market took off, my logic behind, from my perspective, was Ethereum itself, because I'm so bullish on it and getting real world adoption, would do well, but it would be very expensive, and Ethereum Classic might be the cheaper version that people want to buy, and especially when it's available on a well-known exchange such as Coinbase. I haven't sold my Ethereum Classic. I still have it. I bought it dirt cheap. I didn't invest a lot into it. So once again, it's money I'm willing to lose. So if I lose that money, I don't lose sleep. I still go on. I can pay my bills. I have my savings, right? So I practice what I preach, guys. So my whole thing was to quickly flip it, but let's see what happens with this, because part of the reason why I invested it is because one of the major bank investors, man, I forgot their name at the top of my head here, if I can remember, but they own a significant amount of Ethereum Classic. And also, so does Coinbase and many others who got Ethereum Classic from the fork. So, like I said, I personally didn't buy a ton of it where, I'm losing a ton of money because it was very cheap. I bought it at like $7-8 or something, right? And I was looking to do a quick flip, depending on where the price goes up. But let's see what happens. But this is obviously very bad for Ethereum Classic, and maybe it dies off. Maybe it doesn't. I don't know. But this also go back to the conversation of proof of work. Proof of work is kind of like Web 1.0, guys. And that's why Ethereum itself is moving away from proof of work to proof of stake. Let's see what happens. And this also is not good for Bitcoin, which is a proof of work crypto. But the idea, though, about Bitcoin is that maybe people use it more as a store of value rather than for transactions, because I don't know how they're going to scale Bitcoin, even with the Lightning Network, right? How are they going to do it with the whole proof of work issues and costs and electricity and all of that, right? So let's see what happens. Weiss crypto ratings. So as you guys know, Weiss ratings, they released their crypto forecast for 2019 and beyond. They also tweet a lot on Twitter talking about their thoughts on crypto. So forecast 1, Bitcoin will be increasingly used as a store of value. Forecast 2, the price of Bitcoin will rise again and head for new all-time highs. I believe that because it's the original, it's not going anywhere, even though its utility sucks. But as I said, a store of value, more like gold. We don't transact with gold. It's more speculative. Forecast number 3, select altcoins will rise from relative obscurity to as much as 20 times their previous all-time highs. Interesting. They don't give any specific altcoins, but number 4, a select group of cryptos will compete to build a new kind of internet. So they did mention here coins like EOS, Cardano, Holochain, looking to create the Internet 3.0. So who will win that battle, guys? It's interesting. I have Cardano in my portfolio. I've told you guys about this. I'm still looking into Holochain. EOS, I'm on the fence about EOS, but I don't know. I'll look into that as well. Number 5, another select group of cryptos will disrupt the world of banking. So this is interesting because here's what they said, guys. Bitcoin was created to be a new kind of digital payment network, but has so far failed to achieve the goal. Of course, that's because as much as people like to say it's decentralized, its mining and control of hash rate is not decentralized. It's centralized. When over 50% of the mining is in China, right? They could do the same thing that what just happened to Ethereum Classic. Meanwhile, however, Ripple's XRP and Stellar are rising to challenge. They have the potential to disrupt financial markets, remittances, wire transfers, and much more. Ripple's XRP in particular is aiming to disrupt SWIFT, the giant payments network of global banking system. So if it can manage to chip away at SWIFT's market share and even replace it in some areas, there's a chance that XRP could eventually become the world's #1 crypto. What have I been saying? And I'm not saying I'm some sort of genius, but if you apply simple logic and facts to this, if you have a utility token and then it's going to be used with the biggest use case out there, moving money globally, via banks, which send quadrillions of dollars yearly, right? What do you think is going to happen when that volume kicks in, and especially a lot of these financial institutions start buying the XRP on the XRapid exchanges, right? Those who are partners like Bittrex and so forth. Simple logic would tell you this. And once again, I'm not here with some religious crypto ideology, because there are people out there who are, oh yeah, XRP is a banker's coin. It's an inside banking job or some crap like that. They don't provide facts. They just go around saying that. But I'm all about facts and logic here. I don't have tunnel vision with, okay, this is the only thing that's going to happen. The only thing that matters is Bitcoin. It's going to take down the governments and banks. Wake up. The banks have control of Bitcoin. The whales that you people have been crying for to come into market, a lot of them have been buying over the counter. This includes banks. And they could crash it just like, the Mt. Gox whole fiasco. But obviously they're not. They're going to speculate on it, and this is a new emerging market. And I feel like it's kind of like, the early days of the internet where you had, it's kind of was the wild, wild west, and people were hacking and doing stuff, and it was like, yeah, we're going to take the, power away from the government or whatever. And eventually the market matured and grew, and security got better, and now, those things have been dispelled. Now it's happening now with crypto. Oh, it's a new way to take down the banks and governments. But the underlying problem is not banks. The banks only have the power they have because they were able to buy politicians because of money. That's when you stop the legal bribery part of this whole system, that will fix a lot of problems, because politicians will then not operate for the banks or do the banks bidding all the time, but for the people, right? Anyway, I don't want to get into politics. Number 6, Bitcoin Me Too coins will fade away. Many cryptos are going to disappear for a simple reason: they bring virtually nothing new to the table, which is true. Probably 95%, honestly, 95% of them are going to die. It happened in a dot-com boom. Number 7, new coins will rocket to top 10. New coins like Holochain, Hedera, Hashgraph, never heard of that, and others, although still relatively obscure today, will burst onto the scene and could rocket to the top 10 by crypto market. So interesting. Like I said, I have to look into Holochain and get more about that. I like to take my time and research, not just jump on a bandwagon. So I promise that is coming, guys. But I wanted to share this with you because Weiss has some credibility, obviously. So that's why I'm sharing with you. But it's been very interesting. Now, close to wrapping up here, guys. Ledger Nano X. Ledger has released a new product. As many of you know, I have the Ledger Nano S. Many of you have it as well. But we have the X model. It says Ledger has gone mobile. The crypto wallet company reveals its new Bluetooth-enabled Nano X device Sunday at annual CES show in Vegas. The added Bluetooth means that Nano X can readily be used with mobile devices, which has been a pain point for many users of the company's current wallet, the Ledger S. Much of the world primarily uses mobile computing, never or very seldom touching laptops or desktop computers. Here's the thing, though, with Bluetooth, that poses a security risk, so we'll have to see. I personally want to let this play out, and let's see if there's problems with it. You can do what you want, but for me, I'm sticking with the S because I would rather be safe and have it, wherever on me, plug it into my computer, do what I gotta do, unplug it, put it away. and that's not to say you can't do that with the X, but I wouldn't. Let's say I had the X, I wouldn't use it with a mobile phone. I think that's too much of a security risk. But that's just my opinion, and I could be wrong. But let's see if there's any bugs or any issues that happen. I'm gonna wait before I even get one at the X. You can get the S because that one is, you know, doesn't have Bluetooth, doesn't connect to your phone. It's simple. You plug it in, do what you got to do, and you know, unplug it and store it in a safe place. Finally, those of you who are Uphold members, I'm an Uphold member. I use the exchange. If they use the Authy two-factor authentication app, you want to make sure you're disabling multi-device feature. Why? If you enable the multi-device, you know, you run the risk of someone being able to, you know, I don't know how, but through hacking or whatever it is, be able to, you know, load that Authy authentication code on their phone as well. Like I said, through hacking, and then access your account. So turn that off. I had mine on. I turned it off. So I didn't even know that was a thing. So definitely, guys, you can go to your settings and then, you know, turn off the multi-device feature. So that's it, guys. Like I said, a lot of news items, but some big stuff. I think this bill to exempt cryptos from securities laws proposed by Colorado is a great sign. Another bipartisan supported bill, and it shows we're at least getting people in the government to wake up, at least in the United States, to, you know, get things moving. Japan may approve a you know, ETF here, and this is big. CoinFLEX gonna, you know, essentially be competing with RSX and Backed. Big time, guys, big time. So what do you guys think about this news? Leave your thoughts and comments below. Thumbs up if you like this video. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Don't forget to follow me on Facebook and Twitter. Links in the description. And please help share my channel and videos with your friends and family and on social media so we can spread the facts and the news and have people take a logical and factual approach to crypto. Thank you guys for your support, and I'll talk to you all later.